I didn't know we were poor, but we were really poor, man. We grew up in the inner city. It was the hood of what people would call the projects. Our bread had bread on it, and sugar had sugar. One day, this guy comes over to the basketball court where we were at and asks us, could we give Jesus 5 minutes of our life? A couple of things you don't do in the hood. 1, you don't talk about my mom. 2, you don't mess with my food. And 3, don't mess with a basketball game. This guy comes in the game, true story, snatches the ball and begin to run. He goes over to this area in the apartment complex. There's a preacher standing there in the middle of the circle. They had a megaphone and a microphone, and he's just like, I want you to bow your heads, and I want you to close your eyes. I want to pray with you. That day, I was 13 years old. I accepted Jesus into my life. I started attending this church as a Baptist church at the time called New Light Baptist Church, and had more kids in that church than they had adults. They had a couple of extra incentives for us. Houston is known for this donut place called Shipley's. If you go to church, you get on the bus, they give you a Shipley's donut. Sometimes we would get off the bus on the back, come right back in again so we can get 2 donuts. True story, I'm not joking. But that's how I started going to church. 2-3 years into this, there was a revival. The third night, I sit there and I hear in my heart this time, go up and tell the people, I want you to preach my word. It's as clear as I'm speaking right now. And I go up and I do this, and it's literally, I believe with all my heart, that was the call of God on my life. My pastor is Dr. Ira Hilliard. He's a pastor and now he's an apostle, bishop in Houston, and he just became that replacement for me, that father I didn't have. In the summer, he calls me 1:00 in the afternoon, and my sisters answered the phone, and it says, hey, I want to speak to Lee, and they said he's asleep. And he says, go wake him up. He says, the milkman is up, the mailman is up, and God's man is in bed. He says, you get out of that bed, I'm gonna pick you up, and you're gonna work for me at the church this summer. Then I got excited, like I'm about to work finally. Now, I'd already accepted the call on my life, but now finally God is finally using me. My pastor picks me up. We go to the church, and I'm thinking, wow, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm a pastor and I work for the church now. We walk past all the offices out the back door to this little shed we had, and it was a lawnmower. It said, your first job is you're gonna cut the grass of the church. And I'm like, in a suit? He's like, yes, in a suit. It was a lesson that changed my life, and taught me integrity, character, being a man, being on time. If I was late, he would just rip a hole in me. Like when you're late, you're disrespecting the person's time, and time is the most valuable thing you'll ever have. Preached my first message at 16 years old called Dynamite Comes in Small Packages, from the story of David and Goliath. And so I'm 56 now. And so ever since, I've been ministering the word and sharing the good news of God to specifically this generation.